up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of The Girl Who Talks Sports with me, Sam Cardona, and thank you guys all for listening today. As usual, we have a great show lined up today, and if you guys didn't know or didn't listen to last week's episode, last week was the first episode that we uploaded to YouTube, so now I get to say hello to YouTube, which is exciting. My channel is The Girl Who Talks Sports, so make sure that you go and give it a subscribe. I don't know what other things. I like the video that I posted, like this video that I'm gonna post. All that good stuff. We'll finish up with the plugs. Don't forget to follow on Spotify or wherever it is that you get this podcast. You could subscribe on Apple Podcasts and leave an Apple Podcasts review. It's very helpful for me, the more reviews that I get. And don't forget to follow the podcast on Twitter, TGWTS Podcast. I post updates there, as well as some funny memes and stupid videos and pictures of myself, so make sure to give the Twitter a follow. And I think that is all our plugs for today, but we have a fantastic show lined up today, and I'm very excited to get into it because we got some exciting news, some very interesting news this past week. Or this over the weekend, I suppose. But technically, so I'm recording this on June 30th, so the day that this comes out will be July 1st, so happy July, everybody. This weekend is the 4th of July, and I know that this is not something that I should be telling anybody, but please be safe this weekend. If you're going to be getting together with people, make sure that you social distance, wear a mask. Please be safe because we don't need to see any more spikes for COVID or anything like that. And I know it's a big party weekend, but yeah. So we have to remain vigilant, constant vigilance, as Mad-Eye Moody from Harry Potter says, and just make sure that everybody stays safe. Also, before we get into our big story for this weekend, from this weekend. I don't know if this is everywhere in the country right now, but being in New York, in one of the 5 boroughs, fireworks have been a huge problem recently. I don't know why, but people have been purchasing fireworks and setting them off at all hours of the day, even when it's not dark outside and you can't even see the fireworks because the sun is up, but constantly setting them off at night, constantly setting them off during the day. Again, I don't know if this is everywhere, but it's a huge problem, especially in my neighborhood right now, and I know that this weekend with the 4th of July, it is going to be absolute just mayhem. So if you know people or you are people setting off fireworks, please stop. Because it's illegal and it's really annoying. I am hating it. My brother called 311 at midnight one night because he was trying to sleep because he's an essential worker and has been working every day. And he called 311 to make them stop because he could not fall asleep. So that's my little tangent for today. Fireworks are really annoying and they're also illegal. And if you are one of those Pennsylvanians that are selling them to New York City people, please stop. It's really annoying. I absolutely hate it. Anyway, let's get into the show today. So our big story that broke this past weekend, I believe it was on Sunday, is that Cam Newton has been signed to the New England Patriots. And this was something that kind of shocked the world a little bit because I didn't even get. So usually I get notifications from ESPN, NFL, Bleacher Report, all these different places that get sent to my phone, right? I didn't even get a notification for it when I found out about it because Twitter is so dang fast, and Adam Schefter got the news out before the notification even made it to my phone. So I happened to be on Twitter, I happened to refresh my news feed, and the Adam Schefter tweet popped up right at the top, and it said Cam Newton has signed a 1-year deal with the New England Patriots, and I was like, I checked the I checked the name. I had to make sure that it was not the fake Adam Schefter. And I was like, oh my God, is this real? Is this really happening? And I started freaking out, and I was like, I didn't even get a notification for it. This can't be real. So I doubted it and doubted it and doubted it, and like 5 minutes went by, and then I got a notification that officially said that Cam Newton had signed with the New England Patriots, and I was like, oh my God, what a turn of events. Because if you guys are really like keeping tabs on what I say, and I have a lot of episodes out. Technically, this is episode 71. I've done 71 episodes of this show. And back, I believe actually, so technically season 2 of this show started in March. So it's only been a few months. But I believe it was the 3rd episode of season 2, which is called Lamar versus Amazon, if you want to go back and listen to this. But I will own up to what I said, because I'm not going to go back on my word. In that episode, I did a whole segment, or little story, on where Cam Newton may or may not end up. And at first I even said, like, we don't even know if he's going to get signed to a team this year. It didn't, like, between him and Jameis Winston at the time, we had no idea really what was going on. And I had said that the best spot for Cam Newton would be the LA Chargers. Now, when I listened back to it and listened to my points and what I had to say about it, do I still agree with myself? Absolutely. I still would think that Cam Newton going to the LA Chargers would have been a good fit for him. But I said in that same episode, Cam Newton could end up on the New England Patriots. I was just a little unsure on how he would fit into the team. And so I had said maybe it would be a good thing for him, being someone with a big personality. Bill Belichick is known for bringing in these guys with very big personalities and teaching them the quote-unquote Patriot way and doing his thing, you know, and these players end up being some of the greatest players ever. Like, Randy Moss was someone that I mentioned in the previous episode as well. So, was I wrong? Yes. But what I said was that I didn't know if it would be a good fit for him, but it was possible that he'd end up there. So, that's all. That's what I just got to say about that. But I will not go back on what I said, in which I'm not going to come out and say, oh, I knew it all along. I knew Cam was going to go to the Patriots. Like, oh my God, I knew it the whole time. Like, no, I didn't know it the whole time. But that is what is going on right now. So, the New England Patriots signed a 1-year deal with him. He is 31 years old. At the time when I recorded that other episode, I said he was 30, which was true because his birthday was in May. So this man has only been 31 for like 2 months. So in case anybody else has anything to say about that, he was 30 at the time. So now he's 31. He's getting about $1.1 million for a year. And some people are a little upset about that, i.e. Richard Sherman, but we'll talk about that in a second. But it's possible that with incentives he can make up to $7.5 million, which for 1 year is pretty good. Then we have what a lot of people are talking about is the quarterback dynamic that is now going on in New England, and it's like, well, is Cam going to start or is Jarrett Stidham going to start? And Stidham? I think it's Stidham. Anyway, is he going to start? And then also Brian Hoyer is in the mix too. But my thought is, why are people debating this? Jace, I keep calling this guy Jason, and I don't know why. His name is Jarrett, Jarrett, Jarrett Stidham. You know what? We're just going to call him Jarrett. So Jarrett got drafted last year. In 2019, he was a 4th-round draft pick. They drafted him last year. You know, he backed up Tom. He did his thing, and now I guess he was under the assumption that since they didn't draft anybody this past virtual draft, the Patriots didn't draft any quarterbacks, maybe he was under the assumption, maybe a lot of people were under the assumption that Jarrett was going to start. But now that they have Cam Newton, a lot of people are still debating about this. And I don't understand why. I don't know why people are debating who's going to be starting. Maybe because of the fact that Cam has injuries and so on and so forth, which we are going to talk about his history with injuries in a second. But, I mean, if I had to choose between Cam and Jarrett, I mean, for a year, if we're gonna start Cam, we're gonna make sure that he's in shape because he didn't play last year. Like, I'm gonna start Cam. Honestly, that's just my personal opinion, but I just don't see the heated debate that's going on right now. Is it possible that Cam is gonna get hurt and Jarrett's gonna get his spotlight? Absolutely, that could definitely possibly happen. Is Brian Hoyer even in this mix? I have no idea. I haven't heard anything about Brian Hoyer starting. It's all been about this guy, Jarrett. But, yeah, so that's what's going on with the quarterback situation in New England. And then I started thinking about how Cam is going to fit into this whole offensive scheme that the Patriots have. Because if you think about it, after having Tom for 20 years, is the offensive scheme going to change because of the things that Cam Newton can do? So, as many of us know, Cam Newton is a very mobile quarterback. He holds the NFL record right now for rushing touchdowns. He has 58 rushing touchdowns for a QB. So, obviously, he's very mobile, and because he's very mobile, he has gotten hurt a lot. But he is a huge dude. He can jet, and he can throw. So, obviously, Tom is not someone who has done a lot of running. And since the Patriots have been starting Tom Brady for the past 20 years, apart from the 4 games when Deflategate happened, but that is a different story. Will Bill fall into, and Josh McDaniels, are they going to fall into the strengths of Cam, or are they going to try and make him throw the ball a little bit more and run a little less often, especially with the injuries that he has had? And honestly, I mean, I think Bill is a extremely smart coach. As much as I dislike the man, I give him a whole lot of respect for being absolutely just amazing football coach. But with his injuries and with the fact that he didn't play a lot last year, maybe Cam will still have a couple of plays in which he does run, in which he does rush, so on and so forth. Is Bill going to kind of convince him, like, this is the best way for you and for the team is if we throw the ball a little bit more? Because, I mean, the wide receivers for the New England Patriots are, I mean, Julian Edelman is just this incredible human being that they're not going to put him to waste, is what I'm saying. So it'll be interesting to see how they play with somebody who is not like Tom Brady whatsoever. So it's just very interesting to see. And in terms of the money aspect, Richard Sherman made it a point to mention how Cam Newton won MVP of the league back in 2015. And he basically said something along the lines of, on Twitter, you know, this guy was an MVP and he made it all the way to the Super Bowl, which he lost, but he was also playing against Peyton Manning. But is he worth $1 million with incentives? Like, is that the amount of money that this guy should be getting paid? And of course, that just made this huge ruckus, which I understand. Money is a big deal to these guys, and they, you know, they're always like, I want to be the highest paid this, I want to be the highest paid that, blah, blah. But this is what the Patriots are giving them. Also, they don't have a lot of cap space left, so, you know, they can afford right now to pay Cam Newton, but there's like another $1 million, I think, left in their cap space. So they're going to have to either start extending people or whatever in order to pay for other things, but that is what it is with the case right now. And Cam probably was under the impression that he was like, oh crap, if I don't get put on a team this year, like, that's it. That's the end of my career, basically. So the fact that someone like the New England Patriots offered him a position, I'm sure that he was like, you can give me whatever you want, I'm going to take it. It was more of a desperation thing. I don't really think Cam would have been like, well, blah, 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 blah. I think the Browns had actually shown interest in Cam in the past, or maybe, like, right before all this happened. But, I mean, if you got a call from the Browns or you got a call from the New England Patriots, who would you rather call back on the phone? So, but anyway, so that's what's going on with that. He tweeted out, I'm excited. Oh, wait, was it? No, he didn't tweet. He put it on his Instagram story. He said, I'm excited as I don't know what right now. All praise to God. Dropping content tomorrow. Hope you're ready. Hashtag let's go Pats. So he's obviously very excited. But on a separate note that has nothing to do with the ability that Cam can play, or what team he's going to, or what's going on, why does Cam Newton use this font? The font, if you don't know what I'm talking about, oh my god, just go on any of his social media. Cam Newton's font that he uses is the weirdest thing in the world. And I've never seen him not use it. He uses this font that has all these little dashes and accents and random capitalization and all this stuff, and I have no idea why or where he was like, yeah, I'm gonna use this font and be different or whatever. But even in, like, serious cases, he will always use this font. And I don't know why. I have no idea why. I don't even know where he got it. I don't know if he's got a keyboard on his phone that has, like, these special characters. But, oh my god, I'm literally yelling about this. My Apple Watch just told me to breathe. Oh my god. That's hilarious. Okay, so anyway, this font is the weirdest thing. Again, I don't know why he uses it or where it came from or what. But, like, I remember when I first followed him a couple years ago on Instagram, he posted a picture, like, he had a baby, and it was his daughter was born. And he posted this whole long thing about how much he loves his daughter, which was so cute and adorable, and the pictures were beautiful. But it was in this font. And I was like, oh, is this like... And it was the first time I was seeing it, so I was like, oh, that's weird. I wonder if it just got, like, jumbled up on Instagram or something like that. And then he never stopped using it. So, I have no idea why. If somebody knows why, please tell me. I need answers. I need somebody to tell me why Cam Newton uses this weird font on all of his social media. Please. Please let me know. Anyway, so it all comes down to this. Cam Newton will win because he's now on a team. He's now on a very good team. I mean, depending on how this season goes, Cam Newton is on a good football team. Cam Newton is getting paid money, and the Patriots now have a quarterback who has experience. I mean, Brian Hoyer does, but I don't think they were ever going to start him. The thing is that there is no loss to it. And also, if the health does come into question, or something happens to Cam, the Patriots lost $1 million, and that's it. And in football money, that is nothing. That is pennies. So, they can't lose. They can't lose in this situation. So I think that they made a very smart decision here. Now with his health, before we wrap up this whole Cam Newton talk, because I've been talking about it for quite some time. So with his health, I have here all of the things that has ever happened to him in terms of injuries while he has been in the league. So back in 2014, August 22nd, 2014, he had a chest rib fracture. December 9th, 2014, he had a vertebrae fracture. Oh my god, do I know how to speak? October 2nd, 2016, he had a first grade or grade 1 concussion. And I'm pretty sure he was out for a little while after that. That December 2016, he tore his shoulder rotator cuff. And then the shoulder became a problem later on again. In October of 2018, he hurt his shoulder again. January of 2018, so before that, he had strained his knee. And then, of course, we have the foot situation, which I think is the most problematic of Cam's injuries, mostly because last year he what did he do? He had a pedal Lisfranc sprain, and from that sprain, he was unable to play, and then he committed to getting surgery. And the commitment to the surgery basically meant that he was officially going to be out for the rest of the season. Obviously, we didn't see much of Cam last year. Kyle Allen came into the picture. Cam was just... He was even on the sidelines sometimes, but most of the time he wasn't even there. So he had several ankle sprains, ligament tears, all stuff, and then it was the thing last year that really took him over the edge, and he had to get surgery. Now, if you think, well, Sam, that's a lot of injuries. And I would say absolutely you are correct. That is a lot of injuries, especially to that one foot, which is something to be concerned about. But I saw a very interesting comparison that I would like to put out onto the table here. Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill has been around for quite some time. I mean, he was in Miami most of his career, but now we are seeing him in Tennessee. Back in 2016, Ryan Tannehill tore his ACL. And then, right after that healed, he tore it again. So he tore his ACL 2 times. And I know my cousin tore his ACL twice, had to get surgery twice. It's not a happy thing. Could not imagine. Sounds like it is the worst pain, almost, and not great. Ryan Tannehill also hurt his shoulder back in 2018, which I believe was his throwing shoulder. I'm not 100%, but the whole thing is that this man tore his ACL twice and hurt his shoulder back in 2018, so 2 years ago. And now he is the starter for the Titans. He beat out Marcus Mariota, which I guess wasn't that hard, but he beat out Marcus Mariota, and now he has been extended in Tennessee for $118 million. 62 million of that is guaranteed, and I think it can go up to like 92 guaranteed money. So, moral of the story here, people, is don't give up on your dreams, okay? Don't give up on your dreams. And I think Cam Newton is saying, I'm 31 years old. For a quarterback, I'm coming down to the wire here. Might as well make the best of it. Why not, So, Cam Newton, we will be seeing him in that Navy uniform. I'm really excited to see how this turns out. I'm excited to see how he works with the Belichick and the McDaniels offense, and whether or not it's Brady that made it happen or if it was Belichick that made it happen. But if we have football this year, if it happens, which I hope it does, but it seems like the world doesn't like sports right now, we will see in the future how Cam Newton ends up playing for the New England Patriots. All right, let's get into our first segment on the show, and my favorite segment on the show, Tea Time. Tea Time is my favorite segment on the show because we delve into the hot, steamy gossip of the sports world. And this week, we are going to continue talking about the Patriots. So, this is, I guess, a part 2 of a previous Tea Time. Back in December, I put out a podcast episode called "Are the Patriots Cheating Again?" And we'll do a quick little recap of what happened. So if you don't remember, back in December, it had come out that the Patriots, well, let's just say the Patriots for now, and we'll get into the specifics later, were filming the Cincinnati Bengals sidelines. And obviously, not supposed to be doing that. And we have had problems in the past in which the Patriots have filmed things that they weren't supposed to be filming. So, hence why I asked, are the Patriots cheating again? So, what the more specifics of this, to recap, were that there's a web series called Do Your Job, and technically, I guess they're independent contractors, but they still work with the Patriots because it's about the Patriots. Anyway, a production team had pointed a camera at the Bengals sidelines, and you're not supposed to do that. There was video evidence that was released about a guy, a security guard, telling him, like, hey man, you're not allowed to be doing this. And there was a man talking in the background like, what are you talking about? Blah, 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 blah. I don't know. And that guy, Dave Mondillo, was fired. And it's an interesting video. I believe Jay Glazer was the one that revealed this video to the world. So if you haven't seen it, I would suggest watching it. It's kind of hard to defend, I would say. So the Patriots had this whole thing going on. This was back in December. Now that we are at the end of June, we are in July basically. It's been 7 months since this happened. And, well, not since it happened, since it came out. And now the Patriots have been disciplined. And by disciplined, I mean they just tapped them right on the hands and said, bad Patriots. Don't do that. And they said, okay. And now they have to give, they were fined $1 million and have been docked their 2021 third round draft pick. And that's it. Oh, and the production crew, the Patriots team production crew, is banned from filming games this season. So they are not allowed to film games this upcoming season, and they don't have a third round draft pick, and they have to pay a $1 million fine. In my opinion, this is extremely light for a discipline for filming a sidelines. I guess it has to do with the fact that they were an independent contractor. Like, they technically, it wasn't like Bill Belichick out here just filming sidelines, like, with his personal camera or anything like that. Like, it was a web series that was indirectly affiliated with the New England Patriots, and, I guess that they were a little confused on everything, but now they just have to do these few things. You can't videotape. It's like nothing, basically. Which reminds me of, like, the whole thing that happened with the Red Sox cheating scandal in the MLB. Like, they got in, like, basically the same thing. Some guy was fired. Some guy in the video department was fired, and they had to pay a fine. And that was it. And I think they got docked a draft pick. I think they literally got the same exact sentence. I could be wrong. But I think that was the case. So, like, okay, great, thanks for that. And then, yesterday, my brother and I were eating dinner together, and we were pretty quiet, because we were also very hungry, so we were eating, and, just kind of broke the silence, and my brother looked at me, and he goes, who would film the Bengals out of all the teams to film? why would you film the 2-14 Bengals? And I said, Daniel, that is a very excellent point to bring up. And honestly, out of all the teams, if you're gonna film any team, why are you filming the Bengals? Like, were you really that afraid that the Bengals were going to be the ones that beat you? Like, I was... really? Really, the Bengals. Last year's Bengals. I was just like, that is a very good point to my brother. That the fact that, again, out of all the teams, and I think that they even said something about the Browns maybe as well being somehow in this mix. Again, why would you film the Browns? Why would you film any Ohio team other than Ohio State? It just doesn't make any sense. It does not make any sense. So I thought that this whole thing, the tea was hotter before we got the discipline. The tea is still pretty spicy just because, it's still cheating, technically, and they continuously get caught cheating. But, they got a reputation now. It is what it is. Maybe not just the team. Maybe it's just Belichick that's it. But I don't know. But that is our continuation of tea time. That probably wraps it up for this little, this stuff that's going on. But, yeah. What an awful discipline, in my opinion. Definitely should be a little bit more. But I think the nice little sprinkle of, yeah, you're not allowed to film anything this season now, okay? And I think that is I like that little bit that they put in there. So I guess that's a good thing. All right, let's move on to something. As we know, sports, since they are going to be starting up again, basketball is going to be starting up, baseball is going to be starting up again. But as we know, as of right now, and these past few months, sports have been a bit on the DL. And for people who maybe are sports bettors, they need a fix, I would say. Or they just need something to make money. I know, like, the guy who used to be on Jeopardy, James Hosehauer, I think. Hosehauer was his name. He considered sports betting his profession. He is also a very smart guy, so he was able to bet on sports in a very, reliable way and always seemed to win, so he was able to basically make it his profession. But, people bet on the sports, and with no sports going on is a very interesting thing that I found out about. Basically, a website called MyBookie, which I think is a pretty popular sports betting website, decided to grant people the opportunity to bet on great white sharks' migration patterns, and that seems to be a new low. But let's get into some information about this. So, MyBookie invited people to place wagers on the summer migration patterns of these great white sharks. They were displaying odds on the sharks' travel itinerary and where they swim around, and people were able to bet wagers on whether or not where these sharks were going to end up. And yeah, so it's very, very interesting. But it seems to be there's a little bit of a problem with the information that they got. So let me explain. There's a website called OSearch, which is OCEARCH, so like ocean search, so it's OSearch. Very clever. It's a non-profit in which they track animals' movements. And what happened was MyBookie had contacted OSearch, I think through Facebook. And it said, like, hey, can we like data mine and take your information to do this? And they had discussed it, but it was never said that they could actually publish this information for gambling. So they contacted it, but then they debuted this event in which people can bet, but without this nonprofit's permission or knowledge of it even happening. So now, unfortunately, if you were thinking about maybe betting on some shark migrations, you can't do that right now. They are in negotiations of whether or not they're going to allow my bookie to do this event actually, and like actually give them permission to do it. Someone had said that it's possible that this might be some positive press for like ocean life, and I think maybe some sharks are endangered, so maybe they were gonna throw in some like save the wildlife kind of thing. So it was kind of interesting, and well, first of all, I just think it's absolutely hilarious that people would actually go and bet on shark migrations. Like, it's just like, yeah, we're gonna bet $1,000 that this great white shark is gonna end up over here, and that blows my mind. I am not one to gamble. I hate it, actually. I went to Aruba last summer, and in Aruba it is legal to gamble, and I think I put like $20 in a machine and lost all of it, and I was like, you're not getting any more money from me, pal. No, I can't do it. I don't like it. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I understand that there are pluses to this or whatever. I went to Belmont, like the horse race, 2 years ago or last year. I don't even remember. And I placed a couple bets for that too, and my dad had given me money to place bets, and like none of us won. And I was just like, this was stupid. Why are we betting on horses? It's dumb. Anyway, so when I read about this, I was like, this is crazy. But I also decided to look at this OSearch website. So I went on OSearch and I was like, okay, let's see like if there are sharks near me, because you can see if you go on the website, there's all these little like circles with numbers in them. And so it's like if it says like a 2, it means there's like 2 sharks in that area, and you can kind of see what sharks are around. So I live in Staten Island, so I found the closest shark to Staten Island was, I mean, not next to us, but pretty close, and it was kind of closer, I guess, to like Long Island, but which, by the way, Staten Island and Long Island are not the same place, in case you were wondering. That's one of my biggest pet peeves, is when I tell people I'm from Staten Island and they're like, so Long Island? And I'm like, no, Long Island is part of New York, but it's not part of the city. Staten Island is a borough of New York City, whether people like it or not. It is the 5th and forgotten borough. Irrelevant right now. But anyway, so I decided to look to see what the closest shark to me was. It happened to be a female named Finn. She is 4 feet and 11.5 inches and 79.2 pounds. And I was like, oh my god, the fact that there are sharks near New York City kind of blows my mind. And then I was just kind of looking around just to see if there was any bigger sharks that were kind of close by, or maybe in places that I've been before or anything like that. So I found another one in the Hamptons, near the Hamptons. And this guy's name, he's a male. His name's Cabot. He's 9 feet, 8 inches, and 533 pounds. Which I was like, holy cow, that's a big fish. And if you've ever watched Shark Week before, that's crazy. Like, the Shark Week is so cool. Actually, I think it's coming up soon, which is very exciting. If you don't watch Shark Week, absolutely watch Shark Week. It is fantastic. But then, this is before... last shark that I'm going to talk about today, this whole shark gambling situation. I found a female shark, which was, I don't know if this is a typo or not, but this is what it said on the website. She's a female. Her name is Mary Lee. She was last seen near like LBI/Atlantic City, so down in Jersey. She is 16 feet, 3,456 pounds. That, I cannot figure out whether or not this is a typo or not. But if Cabot over in the Hamptons is 9 feet and 533 pounds, this guy is almost double that and 3,000 pounds. Like, the size of this fish must be insane. Again, I don't know if this 3,000 pounds is an accurate statement or not, but I was just perplexed. Also, LBI, like, that's where I go to the beach. That's where, like, I don't go to the beach. You can't go to the beach on Staten Island. There, I only go to Jersey to go to the beach during the summer. And the fact that a 3,000 pound shark is near LBI or Atlantic City? Are you kidding me? I just think that it is just so insane. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane that people may or may not have bet on sharks and their migration patterns. But, yeah, it's just so crazy. So, moral of the story, don't put plastic in the ocean. It's bad. And also, I guess, if you really need to bet on something, it's possible that Search will allow my bookie to do this. So you'll have something to bet on, except for the fact that sports come back in like a month. So it's up to you on whether or not you want to bet money on shark migration. So this is going to be our last little story before we get into almost the end of our show. It's not a topic that I know a lot about, but it's very interesting. Rugby. And Jesus, I can't pick up my paper. I don't know anything about rugby. I don't know players in rugby. I don't know any teams in rugby. Obviously, rugby is not a sport that we really cover on this podcast. But the Leicester, I don't even know how to say this town. Leicester Tigers, a rugby team called the Tigers, have signed a player, and his name is Harry Potter. Like, that is absolutely just the craziest thing in the world, and also the coolest thing. And if anybody listening knows me personally, I love Harry Potter. Like, I love it so, so much. I am currently at the end of rereading the books again. I'm at the end of book 4, and that was my quarantine activity, was to reread the Harry Potter books again. It's been about 4 years since I've read them. So when I saw this, so as a joke on Twitter, like, I saw that people were liking, like, I got, on Twitter, when people like a tweet, and even if you don't follow that person, or the people that post it, it'll come up if enough people like it that you follow. So I see this tweet, and it's from this rugby team, the Tigers, and it's like, you're a wizard, Harry. The Tigers have, signed Harry Potter to the team, and the picture that they use is Harry Potter on a broomstick, and I was like, that's a weird thing to tweet. I don't understand why they would do that, but whatever. And I just went on with my day. And then I started seeing more of it. And it was actually some dude. His name is Harry Potter. And he's a rugby player. He's a quote-unquote versatile back, according to the Tigers. So I thought, okay, I need to know how this lines up with the books coming out. Because the books came out in the 90s, or they started coming out in the 90s. So Harry Potter, the books were published. The first one was released June 26, 1997. Harry Potter, the rugby player, was born December 15th, 1997. So Harry Potter, the books were a thing before this guy was born. Now, were they big enough to the fact that the parents of this guy were like, hey, Our last name is Potter. We're having a son this year. Why don't we name him Harry? And it'll be a fun little thing for this book that we read, not knowing that it was absolutely just going to blow up to be one of the most well-known and beloved book series slash movie series in, like, the entire world. Or these people had no idea that Harry Potter had come out at all, decided they were going to name their son Harry with their last name Potter, and it just so happened that this now 22-year-old rugby player is named Harry Potter. Will we ever know? Maybe. Maybe his parents will come out and say something one day, but as of right now, I'm going to sit here and internally debate with myself on whether or not this guy was named after Harry Potter or it was just very coincidental that he was born the same year that the first Harry Potter book was released. But how crazy is that? Imagine going your whole life named Harry Potter. Like, people must have made such a fuss over it every single time they met him. They'd be like, oh, like, what's your name? Harry. Oh, that's very cool. You know, what's your last name? Potter? Really? People are actually going to be like, either people are going to freak out the fact that your name is Harry Potter, or people are not going to believe you. This man, like, this is either a blessing or a curse. There's no in between here. There is no in between of the fact that this guy is probably sick of his name being Harry Potter, or he absolutely adores it. What I want to know is whether or not this guy has read the Harry Potter books, or seen the movies, or has made any point to, like, become a Potterhead. Or if he's just like, I'm so sick of people saying, oh my god, your name is Harry Potter, that I resent J.K. Rowling, and the books, and the movies, and Daniel Radcliffe, and everybody that is involved with Harry Potter. I need to know. I have to know. Should I try and contact this man? Excuse me, Harry Potter, I need to know if you read Harry Potter. Oh, man. Okay. But yeah, so that is that's the last story that I have for you before we get into our segments today. So I only got one segment for you guys today. I apologize, apart from our tea time from this week. So I know last week I've said for the past like 2 weeks now that I was going to do a movie review of A League of Their Own, but I still never got around to it. I never got around to watching the movie. But we're going to do our segment for today, and it still has to do with A League of Their Own. So, Tweet of the Week. Tweet of the Week this week has to do with A League of Their Own. And, first of all, if you haven't seen the movie A League of Their Own, I highly recommend it. If you don't know what it's about, basically what happens is it takes place, I believe it's during World War II. And baseball players are sent by the draft to go fight for, it's either World War I or I think it's World War II. So they want to keep baseball a thing, but all the guys have been drafted and they're gone, so they decide to make a women's baseball league, and that is what this is all based off of. And it's a very, very heartwarming, lovely story. Tom Hanks is in it, so you know it's a good movie. But basically, what happens at the end of the movie is a very, very small, quick scene, but obviously all of the women playing in this baseball league are white, because segregation is still a thing and black people are still being pushed aside by society. So there's a scene in the movie where towards the end the ball rolls over towards a group of black women, and Dottie, who is the main character, she's the catcher for the Rutherford Peaches, and she puts up her glove to have this black woman throw her the ball. And she throws her the ball, and it overthrows her, gets hit. Some other girl catches it, and she pulls her hand out of her glove, shakes it out like it hurt. And this, I know this is a lot of talking before I get to the actual tweet, but this is a tweet that I saw today, which will be our tweet of the week this week. It comes from Matthew A. Cherry, and they said, imagine a League of Their Own sequel that starts with the scene of the black woman throwing the ball back from the stands, and you stay with her, and it becomes a biopic on the 3 black women that played in the Negro Leagues: Toni Stone, Mommy Peanut Johnson, and Connie Morgan. And I thought that would be a fantastic movie. Absolutely, I would 100% watch that movie. It would be just so cool. It would be so cool. Just to see, because they do eventually make these black leagues, and then, you know, if you've never seen 42 either, about Jackie Robinson, that's another very good movie to be watching. But yeah, I saw that, and since I still didn't watch and review it for you guys, but I did see that tweet. I thought it would be a good, nice little crossover to mention on the podcast, and I thought that would be a great movie, and I think that someone should definitely put time and energy into that, because here's me saying that I would 100% watch that movie. Sounds very, very good, and I just love A League of Their Own. I think it's a fantastic movie. So that is our tweet of the week this week, and / sort of movie review, but not really. And usually I would have a feel-good story for you guys to end off the show. Unfortunately, I could not find one. We were sparse on feel-good stories this week. But instead, let me just say, please be safe. Especially this weekend with the holiday. Wear a mask, social distance, wash your hands, disinfect your things, your belongings. Don't go out if you don't have to. All that good stuff. Just please be safe. It is very important, and we've been seeing, you know, COVID spikes down south, especially up here in the Northeast. I would just really, really appreciate you guys if you just made sure you made the right decisions, and everybody just stay safe. So that is our show for this week, people. Don't forget to subscribe on the YouTubes. And, like the videos that I post. Leave comments if you want. Don't forget to subscribe on Apple Podcasts. Leave an Apple Podcast review. Follow on Spotify or wherever it is that you listen to this podcast. And don't forget to follow the podcast on Twitter, TGWTS Podcast, where I'll post updates on things, videos, photos, memes, whatever it is that I feel like tweeting that day. And continue to stay safe. I hope you all have a fun, fantastic, sports-filled day. And I will see you guys all next week. Bye!